Hello there, Internet. I want to wish everybody else out there, wherever you are, happy 4 motherfucking 20. Doesn't matter what time of day it is, wherever you are, whenever you're watching this video. Because you know what? It's always 420 when you're in BC. And that's exactly where I'm coming to you at from. Where I'm coming to you from is at, oh, fuck. Ugh. I just had me dinner, folks. I should be more on the ball. I'm just smoking me after dinner joint. You think I'd know what I was fucking talking about or here to talk about or had a better plan, you know. But not to worry. We haven't gone off the rails yet. I just want to talk to you folks about what I've seen living in Vancouver my whole effing life. The house prices have always been a fraud since, like, I don't know, 1975. It was fraud in the property market before then. Because if you see, there's this term, it came from Canada, from Manitoba, where my family is originally from, in fact. The term is land sharking. It entered the English lexicon a long time back, but 1870s, 1880s, because all across the country with the Transcontinental Railroad, and oh, that was also the time when we had our Civil War here in Canada. West versus East, not North versus South, West versus East was the Civil War in Canada. They don't really tell you it like that in the history books, per se. So, as they were building this railway, eventually, when they got to Vancouver, they called it the Terminal City. And the land sharking had gone on since they had to fight wars over that, civil wars over the land sharking, and a lot of other things. It was much more manifold and multifaceted. There was a lot of reasons, folks. A lot of those reasons still exist out here in the West. And I am a Western separatist. I don't know, I guess I always have been my whole political aware life. Nevertheless, as I was saying, by the time that they got to Terminal City, and this is back because there was New Westminster, which is just over there, well, you know, right around the corner, folks. That was the big city here, and the rail lines do come to New West, but the Trans-Canada rail lines went to the Terminal City, which is a little bit of an outcropping. Yeah, there was stuff there, but New Westminster and Burnaby, where I am now, these were the old cities. These Metzquiem and the Squamish Nation and the North Vancouver, they're right. That was, even 100 years ago, there was as many natives there. There was more natives there was out that ways than there was Brits. It was here in these areas where I'm around now in the central lower mainland. It's where all the industry and stuff, but they built up Vancouver, the terminal city, and all these land sharks made all their way all across the prairies and all across Western Canada and ended up in Vancouver. And they never stopped, folks. They never effing stopped. Okay? They just kept the ball rolling because it had made them all money. And that's the economy, the system of our real estate out west here is the goddamn land sharking. So I've seen this my whole life out here, living out west here. The empty lot. Earlier when I was doing some videos downtown, there's empty lots all over the place. There's empty lots out here. There's forest, they're knocking down the forest. There's always more spots to build. They don't need to knock down the old houses first. They could clear the commercial space or the industrial space or the other spaces that they've got available. Build housing or townhomes or developments out there. They don't need to go after the old areas, the land sharked out areas already built up. They could leave those, build the new developments, have everybody move in. To be a little bit more expensive, but it'd still be cheaper than forcing people out. I've seen it the whole time I've lived here. Vancouver is empty, folks. Burnaby is empty. All those temporary foreign workers, all those illegal migrants, the illegal construction workers, the illegal trade and cleaning, and they're not here anymore. They've left. The jobs aren't here anymore. There's no point in living 5 to a room and paying all this money in rent, because they were able to make money and still have enough in this margin to send remittances. Not anymore. Not when you don't have a job. It's just, you can live like a king compared to your homeland if you're on the refugee and the government handouts. But the government handouts, although you can live like a king, there's no margin for the remittances. So, can't work, follow the work. They've just left. There's no more. I bet you 500,000 students are once again this year not going to be showing up in September. It's gone like that the last 3 years. There's 500,000 people less doing their schooling and their students, and at least that. The whole lower mainland, the whole multi-million city people's worth, or whatever the hell it is. They're lying to you about the population. Damn, I need some water. My water bottle is empty. I gotta go refill it and finish my joint and my video. Okay, I can collect myself. I can get my shit together. We all gotta get our shit together collectively on the nation's behalf, on all our neighbors' fucking behalf. Because, you see, the thing is, these goddamn land sharks were able to fool everybody when there's 500,000 more temporary foreign workers, when there's 500,000 more, a whole 25-30% of the population. Well, all those people have left since 2023, 2024. Those numbers have been the same. They went down a lot after the COVID. And they were still able to keep pumping up the rent prices, and then they weren't, and so they haven't been for about 3 years now. And there's no takers. There's no more suckers born every minute that are showing up to get suckered, and they're running out of time. They're run out of runway around here. That's what the bailouts, and it ain't 5,000 empty condos, folks. Try 50,000. Probably just in Vancouver alone. There's probably another 25, 30, I don't know, maybe even 50,000 empty condos in Burnaby. But there's a lot. Not that many in New Westminster. Oh, I bet you there's probably, I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000. Between 5,000 and 10,000. I'd put the numbers at that for New Westminster, because it's a much smaller city, but much more condos, much more apartments. And if you were to include the empty lots and the developments and the unfinished buildings, then yeah, it's definitely, you know. But why were all these land sharks able to flourish? Because they'd been doing it with their buddy deals in the Terminal Club downtown on Hastings, or at the golf course out at UBC for, I don't know, 125 goddamn years. So they had it made in the shade. There's been, you know, hiccups on the roller coaster ride along the last 125 years. But this is a big one, folks. And they were so far behind the numbers of their own projections, and so it was allowing them to never keep up with the housing numbers that were required, and so they could keep that impression that the boomers' house price was just always going up. Your house should always be depreciating in value because it gets older and you need a new roof after 20 fucking years. Like, ugh. So everywhere else in the surrounding boroughs where it used to be industry or they used to have commercial, all those prices went up too. And hence why you see that the companies are just leaving. They're like, fuck, we tried, but there's no business case to be here. The rents are so goddamn high for the commercial or the light industrial leases. Everywhere I go, it's just empty, for lease, for sale, every fucking direction. Look, I'm running out of fucking runway myself here. I gotta tie this all together, and how the land sharking and the spreading out from the epicenter of the Vancouver, and all those people left. So if we had, I don't know, 2 to 3 million people here in, a limited or greater variety of the lower mainland in 2018 or before 2020, the cycling through of people, I bet you at least half of them are bloody well left by now, because they were never from here. They have no loyalty. They would say, oh, you're actually from here? Why, I've never met somebody here before. I've lived here for years. Because everybody's from someplace else, and they've all gone back, or they've all moved on, and they can't do the math. They're still starting and doing these development applications for new rentals. So none of that construction's happening though. So you see, if you have a temporary foreign worker or an illegal doing the job on the construction to build a house that neither the person who would be doing that construction job, namely the locals, then you need two houses. But that area that they're, so everybody who hasn't moved into that building, they need two houses too, because where do you live? Well, this condo is under construction, right? So they were purposely pumped. That's why they always needed to hire foreigners, because you live someplace, the temporary worker lives someplace, and you were building a house that was taking up, so one fucking condo unit or tower, and that could take up 4 different housing necessities to build that over here, when it's being built on, the developed, when they could just build off into the buildings that have already been taken down, that are already empty lots. They sit there on Main Street. I've seen it my whole life. You can't tell me that lot on Main Street is worth 10 or 30 million dollars or whatever, because it sits there for 25 goddamn years. This is what I was doing the video with the fractional reserve banking, and how the land sharks, to hold on to it, they're borrowing tenfold fractional reserve banking off there. Whether it's 3 million, they have to sell it for 30, because they've 10 to 1, they've got leverage stakes in that property, because they've been using it to spend the other side of the currency in loans. So this is what the properties are used for, and why they sit dormant for so long, until the rest of the market, or as we all know, it's actually deflation of the currency, can catch up to these numbers. But that increases the numbers for you across the street, when that's where you're paying rent and property taxes and all that bullshit. So as you can tell, it's getting dark around here. I'm running out of fucking battery time. It is not the foreigners. they've already left. Everybody who could pull out, they've already pulled out because they're a lot smarter than your sorry fucking dumbass, you son of a bitch. And they're already gone. So there's no, the people who are still getting caught up with these, you know, $24, $28, or $3,200 a month rent, they don't want to talk about it. Everybody just walk the fuck out. It's the middle of summer. Just put up a tent in the fucking park. Let's have sober fucking tent cities and just hang out and say, fuck you. Fix this shit. And when it's $700, $900 for a one bedroom, and when it's, you know, $1,400, $1,500, $1,600 for a decent place in a decent neighborhood for a 2-bedroom or something like that, that, you know, maybe that would be even expensive. But anyways, I don't think that that's going to work. Nobody wants to band together with their fucking neighbors because they're locked into these leases and they've got their, just put the fucking, you got a fucking foreclosure notices from the banks, fight it and stay inside the fucking house for as long as you can, because you can stay there for fucking years. But put the fucking tent out on the front fucking lawn. See, there's be a fucking tent out on the lawn of fucking a couple maybe every fucking block around here. I got pictures of the for sale by order of the court signs again around Broadway, everywhere where they do the development. Anyways, some of those fucking land sharks too, they fucking beached themselves, or they got caught up on the hook. Anyways, you guys have a nice fuck off now.